Hi viewers. So in this video, I'm gonna quickly talk about iEditor, or sometimes called VI editor. So this is a screen-based textual editor, which is mostly based on the command line or the terminal. So nowadays there are quite a lot of fancy editors out there, which most of us are familiar with. And if you're particularly a programmer, um, it is vital to know one of these ubiquitous terminal editors or screen editors, such as the Y editor. So there are other terminal editors like Emacs as well. So you normally get to work on certain environments where there are no GUIs involved. So you probably won't get a chance to work on a textual graphical editor in those environments. So knowing an editor like Y editor and its work related matters is useful for your day-to-day job. Even if you aren't a programmer, a developer, knowing Y editor might make your work day productive because it can do some magical editing and all sorts of different kinds of search and so on, as you will learn in this video as well as in some subsequent videos. So I will cover one section which I call part one of this Y editor tutorial. So in this video, I will be talking about moving around the files, uh, editing the text file and saving the text file. So I'll leave some of those other advanced topics such as searching and different other things that we'll look in subsequent videos. So let's get started right away. But before we go on to there's a little bit of a history about Y editor. This was invented, or this was created back in 1976, and today being 2022, still widely used, and you can see how important this has been over the years for developers as well as others who are using this editor, and has survived for decades now. And that's one of the reasons why this is an ubiquitous editor in the most run. Okay, so yeah, so let's get started. So for this tutorial purpose, I have a couple of files created. So in fact, this file is vi underscore one.rtf. So others tutorials will follow up for with other files that I have. And I have also a sample file which I just generated random text using a Lorem Ipsum web page, and then you can have any file like that. So how do you open the file with vi? So you have vi sample, so you open it like that. So you get the text that you find in your file shown in your terminal. So this is my terminal in Mac OS. Mac OS is a Unix based operating system. Most of the time vi editor comes installed by default in Mac, and most of the time in other Linux environments such as Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, and so forth, right? So you don't need to worry about installing it. By chance it's not installed, you can refer to those operating systems documentation on how to install it, especially on the relevant package managers of the operating system. You should be able to install it. In Windows also, you can install vi editor in various different forms, and now Windows as a Windows subsystem for Linux, and with that you will also get vi editor in those terminals as well. And otherwise you can also install vi editor using Cygwin and many other tools. Even Git Bash has vi editor uh, installed by default. So you have the option. So assuming that you have the details, so let's get started. And now I have opened my file. So I'm going to follow through this document for reference, and I will uh, have these details posted in the description section below as well. Okay, so first of all, once you open the file, you need to know how to move around the file. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, of course, HJKL. So those are the keys that you find next to your semicolon key. All four keys are together. Will help you move around. For example, if you just press J, you go down one line at a time and so forth. So you see K takes you up, and L will take you right, and H will take you left. So you might be wondering, why should I remember that? And I could just use the arrow keys in my uh, keyboard. That's also fine, right? Arrow keys will also do the same thing, and which is expected. But for historical reasons, these four keys are being used for left, down, up, and right as well. Okay, so that's not just what you have got. So you should be able to move around in different other forms as well, which will make your job a little easier. For example, if you want to move forward by a word at a time, you can press W. See, it just moves on to each word, the beginning of each word, and so forth. And a comma is considered a word as well, and a period is considered a word as well, like, right? So likewise, so you if you press lowercase b, it will take you back one word at a time, so which is quite easy, right? So W and B, you can remember that. And E will move forward till end of the word rather than the beginning of the next word. As you can see, it just takes you to the end of the word, right? And okay, so then you have got closing bracket forward by a sentence, and opening bracket will backward by a sentence. So let's see that. So I'm going to use closing bracket shift whatever that, so it just move me forward by a sentence, which is a great way to navigate. And then backwards, opening bracket, right? So here we go. And then you also have parentheses. For example, closing parentheses will move you one paragraph, and opening parentheses will move you back by one paragraph, right? So there you go. So one paragraph at a time, you're moving forward, and then backwards like this. Okay, which is a great way. So, and also to move to the beginning of the line. For example, I said I'm now in the middle of the line, so I want to move to the beginning of the line. I can use the caret sign, and so there you go. I enter the caret sign. I'm at the beginning of the line, and now I want to go to the end of the line. So this entire section is a line, even though it looks like a multi-line thing. So for example, if I just press J, it just brings me down, and you can see at the bottom the line number as well, 15, right? And I'm going to go up. There you go. It says 14. So that means this entire thing is a line. So now I want to move to the end of the line. Obviously, that means if I press this dollar sign, I'll be at the end here. Okay. So there you go. And you're at the end. And of course, you have these matching brackets or braces with the percentage sign. So this is particularly useful for programmers who are used to programming, and most of the programming languages have some sort of a blocking scope of statements and so forth. And obviously, when you just move around as well, it just shows by highlighting your matching parentheses and so forth, right? And so that's a great way. For example, you see. For this int main function, the matching parenthesis for this is this. But if you want to jump around that, so you can use the percentage sign. As you can see, it just that's quite helpful, especially if your blocking scope of the function or whatever is quite large, and it just moves off your screen. Moving between those parentheses will help you as well. Okay, so then Shift G, the next thing, very important. So just to jump to the end of the file. So you're somewhere there, and you want to just append something below your end of the file. Then how do you go there? So you just press Shift G, and Shift G. Now you are at the last line of the file. So that means this file has about 209 lines is what it means. Okay, so Shift G can be used to jump around the file on particular line. and it's not just, you just press Shift+G, you're at the last line. But let's say you want to jump to the fifth line. So then what you have to do is just press File and then Shift+G, and you are at the fifth line of the file, as you can, as you expected, which is a great way, right? And then other forms of scrolling down. So remember, scrolling down you'll need to have some control key, right? So Ctrl+e will take you to scroll down one line. So let's see that. So Ctrl+e, scrolling down. It's not moving. So if you just press J, you just move. Your screen doesn't scroll. But Ctrl+e will scroll you one line at a time. Ctrl+y will scroll up one line. So you just want to go there. Uh, Scroll up, yeah, and Ctrl+e will scroll down, as you can see, okay, and Ctrl+d, it will scroll down by half a screen. There you go. Half a screen. So, and your lines are moving as well. Half a screen is moved. Ctrl+u will scroll up by half a screen. And you want to go fast, you can scroll down by full screen. So Ctrl+f, and there you go. You're at the end of the line. And then Ctrl+b, you go up. So remember, E, Y, D, U, and F, B. Yeah, so I'm not kind of asking you to remember this. Even I don't remember this that often, but I sometimes come back and look into my notes when I forget about that. Otherwise, I just experiment. So Ctrl+e, Ctrl+y, Ctrl+d, U, F, and B, which is a great way. And you can also find about the status, shows if this file is modified, the number of lines, and the percentage the current line is from. For example, now you're at the 100th line. So let me press Ctrl+g. Obviously, I had about 209 lines in this file. I am at the 47th percent of the file. And the entire file has 209 lines. So 100th line is where you are at right now, and it shows those details. And if the file is modified, that detail will also show in there. So we'll see that. Okay, the next section that I'm coming is the text editing. Obviously, moving around is now quite easy. So how do we edit our file? So let's just move up a little bit and then come to a few details here. So I'm going to use Ctrl+b to scroll up quite fast. Okay, so I'm going to be here. So let's say I want to edit this. I want to use this, line different. So I can press A. At this moment, this is in the command mode. That's what we call it as, when you move around, you are in the command mode. Now you can give certain commands to the VI editor or Y editor to do certain things. For example, even moving around was a command, right? So now I want to edit. I want to give it a command to say that I want to transfer the command mode to an insert or editing mode. So for that, I can press A. As you can see, when I press A, it just moved to the next line, next particular character, and you are in the insert mode, as you can see here. So now if you want to edit, let's say if you want to begin, you can use the arrow keys to move around as well. It will just move around there. And then if I want to edit, it just adds that value there, right? But let's say I want to append at the end of the line rather than the beginning, or when I press lowercase a, it just moved me one character from where I was and was there. If I had entered there, it would have replaced from that point onward. Not replaced, inserted characters on that point onwards. So now you are in the insert mode. How do you move to command mode once again? Now if you use the W character, the Ctrl+e, nothing will work because now you are in the insert mode. There is no command. So to go back to the command mode, you have to press escape, the escape character. Okay, now you are back in the command mode. Now let's say I'm in here and I want to append at the end of this line. For example, I'm here. I want to append at the end of the line, so I'm going to press uppercase A. So I'm at the end of the line, right? Not the cursor. I'm at the end of the line, and let's say I want to put a comment or whatever, so I can say uh, this is a string. Okay. So again, I want to go back to the command mode, press escape, and insert. I will use insert before the cursor, right? So if I press I, there you go. You are not moving from where you are. And let's say if I do this, it just enters something there. So I don't want to do that. So just want to demonstrate it. And uh, okay, so going back to the command mode, and if you use the uppercase I, you will uh, come to the beginning of the current line. So for example, yeah, so it just brings down here. So you can start entering here, which I don't want to. I'm gonna go back. And next is going back to the command mode, lowercase o, open a new line below, and uppercase O, open a new line above. So O, I'm coming down. This is yet another comment, and going back up. So I'm going to press uppercase O. There you go. You are now inserting at the line above where you were, and line above. Okay. So now pressing escape again. So all the above commands switch the file to the insert mode. So the ones that I highlighted right now. So there are other things like lowercase r, change the current character and be in the command mode. Change the current character and be in the command mode. So let's see r. There, see, I pressed r. It changed the current character and be in the command mode. For example, I'm going back to that particular line r, and then I can press E. So R will go back to the insert mode. Then you can press whatever character that you want, which I pressed, in this case I pressed E, and now you are back in the command mode. You are not in the the insert mode, right? R can just do one particular character change, and then you can go back to the command mode. And S, change the current character and switch to the insert mode. The same thing as R, but you will remain in the um, let's say S deleted that particular line, right? So it just deleted that line, and you are back in the insert mode. Okay, so now you can just press enter. It is there. CC, if you just double click C character, right? So delete the current line and switch to the insert mode. Let's see what happens. CC, there you go, and you are in the insert mode once again, right? So because I wanted to cover this thing in the next section, but I wanted to make sure how do you undo as well, because that's a very important thing. So you go back to escape and you press U, you get undo. Your change, your last change will be uh, you know undone in this case. Okay, so CW, edit the current word. Okay, now I'm here. So CW, there you go, edit the current word. So I can just do that. Okay, so you will be at that particular word. And C dollar, delete from the current position to the end of the line and keep editing. So let's see that. So going back to the command mode, uh, and I'm going to say CW. Uh, let's see. C, sorry, undone. There you go. I think it just, let me try that again. Okay, so I'm in the Mac editor. Okay, so what it does is, I think there's a little bit of a change there, so might be a little different in the Linux environment to here, but okay, C character delete all from the beginning of the line to the current location. Okay, let's undo that again. Uh, let's see this line. Okay, it just has a little bit of a different behavior there, but I would like you to experiment in your environment about C dollar value and C uh, caret value, right? So let's try C caret. No, no, you're in there. Yeah, it just works. So because it deletes from the point to the beginning of the line. So let's go back to my previous one. I'm gonna from here see. Yeah, it just works. I think I pressed it differently. C and then dollar. You just don't press the character 4, right? So you had to press Shift+4 to have the dollar value. So that was my mistake. So it just works. So C dollar will delete all the line from your current position to the end of the line, and C caret will delete from the point that you are in to the beginning of the line. Okay, still you are in the insert mode, so going back to the command mode, and then comes the X, right? X deletes the current character. So let's see that. And yeah, there you go. It deletes and you are still in the command mode, right? And DD deletes the current line. For example, I'm going to say DD and you are still in the command mode. And then this is in program, if you know programming, C or C++, this is basically C++, so you know that this line is will cause compilation error. And of course there are like duplicate variables here, but if you're not a programmer, don't worry about it. So I want to delete from these 3 lines, right? And so what you can do is you can say 3dd. I want to delete 3dd. There you go. All 3 lines gone, right? Then dw deletes the current word, right? So let's say the entire word dw from the place that you are in. So I'm going to go back. So if you want to delete the entire line, you have to be at the beginning of the line. So dw, de deletes till the end of the current word, including a white space if you have any. So let's go back. So let's say I want to delete this thing, de, there you go. It deletes the line with the white space as well. So d character deletes from the beginning of the line to the current character position. So let's go back. Uh, so so let's say I want to delete from here. So D character, there you go. Only string is there. Now if we want to change something, you can do the change. So if I go here, so let's say I want to say second name and something like this. You can start editing. D dollar delete from the current character position to the end of the line, right? So for example, I want to be here, let's say, and then I'm going to say D dollar. There you go. That also works. D caret is for the beginning, dollar is for the end, right? Fine. So then R enters to overwrite mode. Whatever character you type will replace the existing one. So you want to override rather than shift it or insert it. So R, you want to say char pointer. So you want to make that string to something else, right? Something like this. Okay. Well, so that is useful. Tilde character changes the case of the current character. So let's say you want to change this tilde, which is just inserted that. Well, that's not something that I expected. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, the tilde character. Now see, the capital N or the uppercase N became lowercase n, but you want to go back to uppercase N. again tilde character. That's quite useful in programming uh, world as well. So join the next line to the current line. So let's see if that works. There you go. It just brought it to the same line. Sometimes that also is useful in programming, but you can use J. Remember J. Right now we did quite a lot of changes. Um, we need to save our files. So for example, now is what we are coming down here. So if you before coming to this one, I'm going to quickly show the Q. You press Q, quit without saving an unedited file, warns you if edited. So let's see. I'm going to say Q. It says it doesn't close the file. No write since last change. So that means you have made the changes, but you haven't written that or saved. So if you don't want to save whatever you have changed, you can use Q exclamation mark as is explained here. But I want to change this. So before doing that, I'm going to use Ctrl+g to show you the status. Now it says sample modified. See, it's modified and so forth. I haven't added a new line, I believe, for whatever reason. So certain things have changed, added, deleted new lines. Number of lines haven't changed. Okay, so now how to save this? Right, :W. Now your changes have been saved to the file, and the file is still open. It hasn't been closed, right? So let's do certain changes once again. So I'm gonna say new line, added another comment, okay? And now I don't want this particular. Okay, so let's say I want to change and close, or I want to save and close. So I can use WQ, right? So there you go. You're closed and you are back to your terminal. Open it again, and I want to jump to let's say line number 5, Shift+g, maybe 7. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to delete this. I deleted, but I accidentally deleted. I don't want to save this or whatever. Of course, you can undo those changes, like as I mentioned, pressing U, you can do that. But let's say you made too many changes, undoing, you're not sure what you have done already. So one safer way is to quit without saving, right? So quit without saving, your changes will still remain. So see, your changes will still remain. So yeah, so and then while you are in a particular file, you can open another file in the same directory. For example, I have a file name Vim part1. So let's do that. So I have opened the sample file, but now I want to open the Vim part1. There you go. You are in the Vim part1 file, right? And then it closes the current file. So you are no more in your previous file. It closes your current file and opens this particular file, right? But if your current file had certain changes, it will not let you open as well. So let's try that. So let me open the sample, right? So let's make some changes here. Check, right? I haven't saved it, and now I'm going to open my previous file. There you go. It doesn't allow you to open a new file unless you save it, right? So we'll leave it as that. So vi colon your file does the same as above but doesn't warn you, equivalent to this. So I want to do just that. So let's do this, and I want to open with vi colon. Your changes wouldn't have saved, which you can check by opening your file once again. For example, I had a comment down here, it's not there anymore. And at the same time, you can open multiple files as well. So that's another cool way. So let me close this. So I can say sample Vim part1, Vim part2, Vim part3. All these files will be open and you are at the sample file. And now you want to move around. You can say Shift N to the next file, colon N, colon N will take you to the next file, which is Vim part 1, colon N again will take you to the next file, Vim part 2, then part 3. Going back, uppercase N, part 2, part 3, part 1, or sample file. Okay, and if you're at the end, let's say like this, you are at the end of the file chain, but you want to come to the beginning very quickly rather than pressing colon uppercase N, you can use REW, which is just to say rewind. So you're at the beginning of the line now, right? Okay, so colon R, read a file and insert into the current file you are editing. Okay, I would ask you to experiment with that. Uh, and of course Ctrl+g shows the current line number and so forth. Okay, so this is the first part of the Y editor tutorial that I want to cover today. So I'll see you in another video very soon on the part 2 as well. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.